Welcome back to People for People. Once again, I'm your host, Tammy Allen, and my great pleasure today to be here talking with Families First, an organization that has been doing incredible work for over 100 years, 120 years. And we have Mary Yates, and you are on the board of directors for 9 years.
Yes.
That's a long time.
Well, I'm excited about this agency, and I am going to rotate off the board this year, but we have a mandatory rotation off, but it's been an exciting experience for me.
And so tell me what's coming up for you and what's...
I'm co-chairing, my husband and I, Charlie, are co-chairing with Lou and Blanton Winship our annual fundraising dinner, which is Dining for a Difference.
All right. You get to dine, have great food, and make a difference at the same time.
Exactly.
And where's this event and when?
It is going to be March 18th at the Cobb Galleria Center.
So is this like a kind of formal, do you get to dress up? I love to dress up, just curious.
Well, it's not terribly dressy. We're a serious agency, and so it's more business attire, but a little bit dressier than straight business.
Okay.
You can come in a cocktail dress if you like.
Okay.
We're getting underway at 6 with cocktails and then followed at 7 by dinner.
Okay.
We have a very exciting program lined up.
Okay, and what's the program about?
Well, the highlight is Leanne and Sean Toohey. They are the couple that adopted Michael Orr, a homeless boy who was 15 at the time. And working together, he managed to graduate from high school, was one of the most highly recruited football players of his graduation year.
I'm not a football fan, so I wouldn't know the name. But.
Yeah, and he went to Ole Miss, was very successful there, and he is now in his first year with Baltimore Ravens, starting every game.
Wow. I think I have heard that story. That's awesome.
It was
and this is an
chronicled
adoption
in
that came
the
through
Blind
Families
Side.
First.
No, the adoption, this family is from Memphis, so we're not directly related to them. What is important from Families First standpoint is that this story is related to the work we do.
Right, and it can happen. You never know.
It can happen. It does happen. Unfortunately, the good stories don't get a lot of publicity. So we're delighted. You know, The Blind Side was #1 in the box office for weeks. And it's a very moving story, but we think the chance to see this family in person, on stage, will bring it up close and personal and relate very well to the story we tell.
Right, and they can tell you about what they went through. I'm sure that they went through a lot.
They went through a lot, and he went through a lot. Before he came to them, he had a very low grade point average. Really couldn't qualify to play high school athletics.
Wow.
But they took him under their wing, and he worked with fierce determination. You know, we think of people as rescuing kids like this. It's not about rescue. It's about empowering them. It's about giving them the boost that they need, and they have to reach down deep and pull up the determination and the passion to make a go of it. And Michael Orr is an incredible guy.
You know what I think too, somebody that had been through that background, they're going to appreciate more, whereas, you know, kids, you know, they just take it for granted, so they don't have that drive, you know, to really, really succeed, whereas somebody who's just had nothing and knows what that is and all of a sudden is given that opportunity, you know, they're going to appreciate it and work it harder.
Yes, and it's fun. I think Leanne has said repeatedly, she's the mother, that Michael gave more to her than she could possibly give to him.
I can relate to that.
I think that's the experience people have over and over again. We're also honoring a foster family that has worked with Families First for over 40 years.
Wow.
I met them.
So they've been a foster parents for the whole 40 years?
Yes, and we recruit and support foster families. And it's continuous wraparound support. It's helping them get the children assessed for their educational needs, their medical needs, and of course it's helping them, you know, do you have teenagers?
Sometimes I have grandchildren now.
Sometimes you want to kick your own teenagers out. And everybody needs to be enveloped in support to make this work. And that's what we do with our foster families. But this couple, he is 90, she is 84.
Are they still foster parents?
They are still foster parents.
They must be, you know what? It's the kids, isn't it? Give them that spark.
They do. In fact, that's what he says. The kids have kept me young. But their faces just shine with wisdom, with love, with dedication, with selflessness. I thought to myself as I was meeting this couple that if ever I have seen the exemplification of the widow's mite, this is it. These people have given everything to the kids in their lives. And they,
I wonder too, just in encouraging people to become involved, the general public out there, that when you give of yourself, you're not being selfless. I think you're being selfish because you are given so much.
Exactly.
From when the people get it, when you see them shine, you shine. You've offered this, they took it back, and they reflect it back to you. It is not selfless. It is totally selfish, but in the most positive way.
But in the most selfless way.
Yes, okay. I'll give you that.
I'm going to get that word in there because I really, I think selfless comes from, you've heard the expression being in the zone. Mm-hmm. I think when you are providing, when you're opening your heart and supporting the most vulnerable in our world, children.
Right.
That you do become selfless. You forget about yourself. Mm-hmm. I mean it in that way.
Right.
Which is the takeaway of The Blind Side. I mean, the takeaway is, and we hope everybody will leave that evening recognizing that they too, either like the Lewises or like the Tuohys, can gain so much by giving more to children.
Yeah.
And that if we each can, and we'll talk about this, raise our hand to make a difference in a child's life. And it doesn't have to be foster care, it doesn't have to be adoption. It can be just simply talking to a child and encouraging a child. But if we do that and empower that child, and we each did that, just think about how we would measure our success as a society in terms of its impact on children.
And our collective future.
Our collective future.
Yes. I think about, when you say this, I think about Oprah Winfrey's story of being identified in a crowd by, it was some politician's wife, I forget exactly who looked at her and said, "You are just cute as a button," or something like that. And she just flowered under that praise.
Yeah, well, I think we all do. Well, I'm flowering right now under just listening to you talk about all these wonderful stories and how excited you get. We got to take a little break right now. Thank you so much, Mary and Kim, and we'll be back with one more segment.
Yes, thank you.
Disabled in Action, a not-for-profit organization whose mission is to advocate, educate, and empower the disabled, their families, and caregivers. Disabled in Action was founded by Reverend Calvin Peterson, who is also the author of this book, Nothing is Impossible. For more information about the Parent Support Group or this book, Nothing is Impossible, tune in Sunday evenings, 6 to 8 p.m. to Disabled Talk 2, or contact Disabled in Action at 770-987-7684